Hey, you found the original One Mound channel. Today we tore down the cherry tomatoes and we emptied the worm bins. Stick around. A few years ago I built a couple of continuous flow through garbage can worm bins. Found an instructional online and I'm not sorry that I did. That's about 200 pounds of solid worm castings as far as I can tell. Not to mention a couple of thousand worms and tens of thousands of worm eggs that'll hatch next spring. You see, I developed this system and I'm excited to show it to you today. In the fall, when we tear down the garden, all of the plant debris goes into the empty worm bins. And then over the winter, when I clean out the bunny's hutch, that all goes on top of it. I've got 2 of them. And in the spring, I buy 500 worms from an online red wiggler worm dealer, and I split it pretty evenly between the 2. So I put 250 worms in each bin. And as the season goes along, I do my best to put my compostable waste in with the worms, especially the garden waste usually makes it in there. And as long as you give these worms food and water and a nice warm place to sit and do their thing, by the end of the season, you'll have thousands of worms in each bin, and they have turned all of that year's worth of plant debris into black gold. And if you want to grow these cherry tomatoes to be 14 foot tall, you've got to plant them in some pretty decent soil, and that's what I've got, and that's what I've done. I can't wait to show you these tomatoes. But first, I got to work this soil and put it on top of my raised beds, so let's fast forward things and get that all wrapped up. All year long, these cans live back behind my shed here where nobody's got to look at them. Right about right there. In fact, there's the second one. I'm going to pull that one out and dump it too, and I guess we'll go and fast forward again. I'll give you guys a quick look inside the cans so you can get a better understanding of how it works. Google is your friend, and if you need to find this instructional, I'm sure that you could do it in about 30 seconds. And now the good part, you get to see my 14-foot tall tomatoes. Well, they were 14 foot at their best, but we're late in the season and they've fallen over a bit. But boy, are they fun. This is the Mexico midget cherry tomato, one of the world's smallest fruits, and they are delicious. It's more like picking berries than picking tomatoes. So I'm going to real quick grab the last of these tomatoes that I can get efficiently. We're going to knock all this over to the ground and get this compostable material into my newly emptied worm bins. We're going to do it all in fast forward so I don't take up any more of your valuable time. And yeah. Now, if you would be so kind as to hit the subscribe button or the like button or leave a comment so I can grow my channel. And the reason that's important to me is I've got a important message to spread. And no, it's not about composting or 14-foot tall cherry tomatoes. It's about survival seeds and the importance of having a survival seed garden or survival seeds ready to go in case we have a serious catastrophe in this country. And actually, by far, the bulk of the content that I've put on this channel is about my survival seed garden. I grew Hopi blue corn seeds. That's a flower corn. I grew it directly in a lawn. I didn't destroy that lawn. I didn't dig it up at all. I poked some holes in the ground and put my seed in the holes, 20 or 30 per hole, and I let them grow without fertilizing or weeding. And I documented every step of the way. Tons of videos, tons of pictures, way overkill, but it's a lot of fun. And again, I didn't destroy the lawn. I didn't put any work in because it took about an hour to poke 1,000 holes, or it took about an hour to plant 60 holes in the ground and put 30 seeds in each one. And it worked out to like 1,200 plants and tens of thousands of survival seeds, which are drying out right now. And I'm just going to hold on to them in case something goofy happens over the winter. And if that goofy thing does happen, I've got enough survival seeds not only for my whole family, but for multiple other whole families as well. And if the goofy thing doesn't happen, I'm going to have some cornbread, and I'll bet it's going to be delicious. Right, but getting back to talking about this worm bins, this black gold, these 14-foot tall cherry tomatoes. If you don't already know, I live in town. We've lived here for about 10 years, and we're locked in now. We got the low interest rate, and I don't think we're leaving anytime soon. And in those 10 years, I've really discovered I want to farm more. I want to grow more. I want to be more self-sufficient. And being stuck here, it means I'm going to have to do it here on my little quarter-acre yard, half of which my kids use. So I'm just trying to make the best out of it. I got the worm bins going. I've got a system, a routine that I use to have my own compost, my own worm castings that grow my tomatoes to be crazy tall. Got the rain barrel going so I can be more self-sufficient that way. I'm growing the Three Sisters garden in mounds, just like the Native Americans used to. I'm trying to get the most out of my experience while being more self-sufficient than I used to be, and learning as much as I can, because I believe that someday, hopefully not during my lifetime, but someday we here in the United States are going to need all of these skills again. We are way too dependent on electricity and on our modern food system that is not time tested and proven to be resilient. There is no resiliency built in. Something goes goofy with diesel fuel. Guess what? They're not delivering your frozen pizzas to Walmart. Something goes, we get a super bug, a blight, I don't know. Something happens to the corn crop. Guess what? Price of food quadruples, and only the rich are going to be eating. There is no resiliency built in, folks. And even if you just have a quarter acre, you need to start saving some seeds. You need to start saving some food in your basement. You need to start realizing that your family's safety is not guaranteed by your community. It is up to you to guarantee that your kids eat dinner tonight, period.